was asked as an atheist to answer 5 questions. Number 1, where do your morals come from? I think my morals come from the same place as everybody else's. I was taught don't do this or do this as a child, and then as I grew, like everybody else, I questioned, why do we not do this? Why should we do that? And came up with answers of my own. And at some point, as a young adult in my 20s, I sat down and thought, what should my moral code be? It can't be exactly the one that I grew up with, because I don't believe in that anymore. And when I came up with what should it be, when I asked what should it be, I came up with empathy, or the rule of reciprocity. In other words, I want to be treated a certain way, and therefore I will try to treat other people that way. I want to be treated kindly, for example, so I will treat other people kindly. I think, how would I feel if I were them being treated this way or that way? Within reason, some people want some really odd things, doesn't necessarily mean you have to treat them that way. But that's basically be kind, think about stuff, and all the other moral rules follow from that, or should. Don't cause unnecessary harm, for example. The second question was, what's the purpose of this webpage if you don't believe in God? It wasn't my webpage, so I can't answer that. Third question, if you believe in nothing, then what's your reason for living? Never heard of anybody that believes in nothing or doesn't believe in anything. I think that would be ridiculous. If that were the case, there probably would be no purpose in living. But I do believe in many things. I believe in our existence, for one thing. And that's the one thing that I take completely on faith, because I recognize that there's no way to prove it one way or the other. We could be in a giant computer simulation, or this could all be in my mind. But I choose to believe that it's real, for the reason that it wouldn't make sense otherwise. And then after that, assuming everything I can see and hear and touch and taste is real, and then everybody else that I interact with is real, based on that, I believe in all kinds of things. I believe in gravity because I've tried it. It works. I believe in air and water and how they mix, and all kinds of chemical reactions that I've tested for myself, as have you if you had high school science. And then other things I have to take on evidence on hearsay from, say, scientists who say that the Earth revolves around the sun and that it's a big globe, or that the moon revolves around the Earth. These things I could test on my own if I were so inclined. I could do the math myself. I could become an astronaut and so on. But other people have jobs to prove that to us. Fourth question, what if you're wrong? Well, I very well could be wrong. I've been wrong about 1,000 things in my life, and I'm going to be wrong about something tomorrow. I'm going to be wrong about something next year. I could be wrong about atheism. I could be wrong about the non-existence of gods. However, if I am wrong, I'm just wrong on the yes or no question. But then the question becomes, then which God is real? Which of the thousands of asserted gods in the history of mankind is the actual God, or a group of them, or goddesses, or spirits, or demons? Not only do I not have any evidence that any of gods exist, I certainly have never seen any evidence or argument, logic of any kind, that can point toward which God it might be. So let's say you could prove that there was a God, and then I'm wrong. Now you have to prove which God it is, and what they want from me, and how do you know that? So Pascal's Wager, as it's called, is a little silly because it only has a yes or no question. And it ignores that there are thousands of God claims. Fifth question, why can't you just let us believe what we want to believe? Why not? Go ahead. I have no problem with that. I have only problems with actions, such as when someone who believes a certain way tries to weasel their beliefs into legislation that discriminate against people who believe otherwise. So, for example, if you believe in Islam, that's fine. It doesn't bother me a bit. I don't believe in it, but you do. We can still be friends. Unless your belief requires making a law that restricts my life based on your belief that you can't prove to me, or the thousands of millions of Christians that you can't can't prove to the millions of Buddhists. And the same thing goes for Christians or Buddhists. They can believe whatever they want to believe, just don't make a law that restricts what I can do or can't do based on their belief. We should all have the ability to believe whatever we want, and I've never heard of anybody arguing otherwise, except there are some countries that prescribe a belief, that force a belief, which I think is also ridiculous. You can't force somebody to believe in anything. You can force them to go to church on Sunday. You can force them to tithe 10% at the point of a gun or just by coercion. But you can't force them to believe that any of those tenets are true. So sure, believe what you want to believe. Have a nice day. I'm not out to get you. Ooh.